going to start. I just have one question. You know, obviously it's a big game tomorrow. It's also a big weekend in Portland for women's sports. How are you hoping to kind of like bring some of that energy in and just have a big push for the team?
Yeah.
With that in mind.
I think, you know, signing for this club and knowing that we have two teams, a basketball team for the women as well, I think that's massive when we're building a new performance center. And now this is the first time we're going to play in the same day at home and the fans will come to both games. I think it's massive, and I think it's going to be showing the energy we have in this city with the fan base and the club and the owners. So I'm really excited to play our game and hopefully get some energy and winning, and then send that to the basketball team to win as well.
Maybe some kind of party atmosphere amongst the fans.
I hope in the future that we're always going to feel like we are kind of one city, and make sure we have two teams with one organization and one community with that. So I'm very much looking forward to that collaboration. And in the end, when we are in the same performance center, we're going to support each other and use each other in different areas. So it's going to be massive.
Do you have any questions, Lisa?
Yeah, I do. Hi, Coach. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
I want to ask about Muller and playing higher up the pitch and kind of all the different attributes that you see in her and her versatility that you've really been able to pull out.
Yeah, I think it's interesting when you see players that are having a position when you come as a new coach and you see skills in that play that can actually be useful in different positions. She's an attacking fullback, to be honest, and everybody can see that when she had an injury before injury and so on. But how she have developed the way of adapting to a new role in the high press, in the defense work, but also actually scoring or creating chances is quite cool, actually. But she's a very technical player, so she's adapting well. And for me to have that good player who can handle two different positions and both sides of this, because she can use the left foot and right foot, it's very important for a coach to have a few of those. So I'm very impressed what she's doing right now.
And she got a call up
to
the senior national team for Germany. Did she tell you about that, or did you know about that prior? I just spoke with her. I was just so excited, as I am for her.
Yeah, no, I get those emails and info normally before players. So I was extremely happy when I saw that she was on the first list before you actually know they are picked. And then I saw that she was picked. And then I just went back and see, like, have she played in the national team before? Which she has been in under 23 and so on. So I was so happy for her. And I can tell that she's really looking forward to this. So very happy for her.
Yeah, the game that they're playing too is an hour from her hometown. So it'll be good.
Wow. Yeah, wow. Yeah.
Go ahead, brother.
And then Coach, Moultrie and Turner came back last week. You know, what have you seen from them in training this week? And then any updates to injuries that might be unforeseen?
No, we are very, very strong. I think the performance and medical team this year is doing excellent work to put me in a tough situation to pick the roster and teams, actually. But I think for me, it's they are back. I think you saw Liv's minutes, and you know how good she can be and what she gives to us. So she has a big role in this team, and then we just need to manage her minutes for this game as well, of course. But I think Raylin and her have been massive for us this game, so we need them back. We also now know different players can play in that 10-role. Peter has done some good minutes as well, so we have more options for this game, which is also good to manage the game and have a good bench as well to make sure we can have some good finishing players in that game as well.
Coach, you know, Caiya Hanks didn't worry we were having for your front line net. What have you seen from them in trade? Which you know, their assistant coach, Muller, and then do you still kind of expect them back, you know, towards the end of the summer or the fall timeline?
Yeah, I think when I started watching the games last season before I got the job here, I watched all the games that I started from the last game. I went backwards, and then after like 14 games, then I'm like, oh, who is this? Then it was Caiya before she got in here. Then like I saw some games against Gotham last season where she was top class. And then obviously Sarah and the team speak about how she did the last year. So I'm very excited to get Caiya back and start working with her as this upcoming with high pace. Morgan Weaver is obviously a big name and a big history here. And I think Caiya is a little bit more a few weeks, maybe 1 month before Morgan, but both of them will be probably trained with the group very, very soon. And hopefully July, August, they will start actually being ready for game time, which I'm looking forward to.
Then Coach, you were talking about big matches at Providence Park. You've already played a 1 versus 2 matchup against San Diego earlier this season. You're doing it again against Utah Royals. They play a really good high press, great counters, long balls, things like that. How difficult is it to prepare for a team that is so informed, 9 games unbeaten? You know, what are the keys in your mind?
I think they are doing an excellent season, and I think they are so multifunctional in how they can, you know, they have a build-up, but they can be quite direct. They have a high press and a really good counter-attack system. So, you know, that coach that that team is doing some really good stuff this season, and I think they've built from last year where they didn't get results, but I think they had some good performances last year as well, and some really good players. The fun part is that we also are a very good team, and at home we have been showing that, and I think you want to have these games where it's like one against two. If you win, you are top of the table. If we push our limit, we're going to make sure that we are beating right now the best team in the league. So I just love these games, and also to get go on the break after this game. So we want to make sure we squeeze everything we can out of us to make sure we go with a good performance tomorrow.
Last one for me, Coach. You've been kind of go since you've been here. You know, the international break coming up, like you mentioned, you have any fun travel plans coming up?
I do have. I'm just gonna make sure I cross the line on this game, and then also those trainings right next week. But I'm flying to London first and meet some friends, and then I'm gonna go back and coach my kids and be with my kids. I'm just looking forward too much to be with them again, and then recharge, and then get back again and do the rest of the season. But it's been a fun and hectical 2.5 months.
Hey, Coach. Tough one on the road today. If you could just kind of start us off with your thoughts on the match.
Yeah, I mean we play a very good team, and I think we get the first goal, which is very good, and we defend quite well. But when they get the 1-1, they get a momentum and leading into the second half. And I think second half we do a few mistakes, and they are really good in those phases. So I think they win, and they deserve to win.
And then can you talk a little bit about kind of, I guess, what was the message at halftime after Kansas City, I think, had that late first half goal?
I mean, we had to do a sub because MA had a migraine, so there was one thing we had to adjust in for the second half, and then it was obviously to look at how we can basically play a little bit better in the build-up and make sure we can play through the lines a little bit more. We do it a few times, but then also that's when we lose it in the second half when they counterattack and score. So obviously it's a toughness when it's really hot and they are very aggressive, and when you fail, they are so good to use that for their advantage. So on the other hand, it's we give them a fight. We keep fighting until the 93rd minute, and we try to create chances and everything. So I think the players giving everything, and those players coming on is also giving everything. So I think it was a good fight, but we play against a very good team who haven't lost at their home stadium, and one of those games that where you need to have an amazing day if you're going to win that day, and we didn't have that.
Just because you brought up MA's migraine, was that from I think she took a deflection to the face, the head?
I don't know. I don't think you get migraine from
Okay.
deflection, but I'm not sure. But I think migraine is migraine. You don't really know
Okay.
how you get that. Yeah.
Hi, Coach. Wondering if you can also talk a little bit about the midfield effort today, and I guess especially Jesse and Cassandra and their role defensively, and also linking the defense and the more attacking side of things.
Yeah, I mean, they have played 10 games together. I think they are playing the same way as normal. The thing is with against Kansas, they are defending in a quite similar way to we. So if we can break the lines, we're going to be 3 versus 2 in the midfield. Those times we do it, we look very good in the first half. But when you lose it, they have so many good players that they can counterattack. So it's the balance of how sharp can you be, how good can we be on the ball. And I think it was a hot day. It was a little bit of fatigue, but it was also a very good opponent. And I think we tried our best, but then a few moments we didn't solve it through the central areas, and then they were really rapid to do a counterattack and score goals. But overall, I think they are playing very good the whole season together.
And then you've talked a little bit about this just with all the defensive rotation that we've seen this year, and kind of having different players that can step in and provide just different elements of games in the defense. And I guess I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about that, especially Carolyn's recovery runs on that, and then also the choice to bring in JP toward the end of the match.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at starting 11 and Caroline coming in playing, obviously she's her 3rd game. I think her pace and her future is bright. So I want to make sure we introduce her more and more. We have a really good competition in that role. I think for me, it's right or wrong. You never know in each game if you're winning because of changes, or if you're winning or losing because of not changing. But I think we're giving them good minutes to grow, and I think the team is growing together in a very good way. I think the second half we were trying to figure out how we can have a second phase to go. We were not really having a momentum in the game, so those subs was bringing Olivia in as a central player and playing basically with her as a 6/8, and make sure we had two of those players in the midfield. And then I wanted to have a left-footed center back to make sure we can break the lines more into the central areas. So that's why JP came in.
I'll just hop to it. Coach, so I think last year you probably watched some film. There was a lot of first half goals that kind of put the Thorns on their back feet, which I don't think that we've generally been seeing this year. But Portland is currently second in the league in conceding goals in the last 15 minutes of the match. Now, granted, I think a majority of those are coming in times when the Thorns are already down and are clearly trying to be a little bit more aggressive and pushing for an equalizer. But I guess, is that something that I think either you've noticed or you're kind of looking at in terms of what's going on with the defense?
Yeah, I mean, you need to accept sometimes to gamble to go for the equalizer, and then you need to be risk a little bit more plays up front. So we are aware, and that's a part of the game, and that's you score 2-2 or you lose 3-1 instead of losing 2-1, and I'm fine with that as long as we go for the 2-2 and trying as everything we can. The first two games when we considered the third goal was obviously with change information. So I kind of analyzed that maybe we don't want to do too much change of formation. So today we kept the formation, but it's a really good last 20 minutes from us where we're creating chances and put a lot of good pressure on them. And then it's a long ball, and then Caiya she's quite good there. So it's kind of like no matter what you want to do, that they can score in that goal, and I'm fine with that because we need to push for getting a draw. We cannot just stay and try to just consider two and have a 2-1 loss. We need to gamble a little bit, and we are ready to take that risk if we consider another goal.
Thank you.
And then, Coach, can you just kind of break down the 3 goals given up today? It looked like a lot of overloads, especially on Kansas City's left side, and then the spacing in front of the back four as well. Can you just kind of break down those goals given up today?
Yeah, I think the first one is obviously we have a goal kick and we scored in that way last week. Now we losing the duel and we're not really ready to drop with the back line, so they get a header in behind us, and then they make it a little bit difficult how we're going to defend from that long goal kick. So that's it's a situation we need to be better at, definitely. The second goal is obviously we are having a build-up. We are playing through the lines and we just give the ball away in a very unpressed moment. So when you do that, you are spread out because we want to be a big team and find spaces. So when you lose it in that area, there's no one in this league that can compete with Chawinga in that transition moment. So, they play it to her in that space and she do a good finishing. But we cannot lose the ball in that area. It should never happen. So we just need to be aware that we need to develop that and make sure that we take the right decisions. The third one is a counter-attack when we are pushing in and we're doing a second cross, I think. Obviously, we want to have a better cross to make sure we get a corner or a goal, but now they kick it out, and then it's a running duel. And once again, Chawinga is extremely strong and quick to win that duel, and then you just try to recover back, and then she do a really good pass and a good finishing. So I'm aware of the goals. I think the first goal is obviously how we should drop quicker when we lose the duel of the goal kick. The second goal is obviously we shouldn't lose the ball in those areas. We should never do that, but that happens sometimes. And the third one is just more like a desperate thing where we try to push everything we can to score a goal and then they do a counterattack on a really strong player.
Yeah, and then Coach, the last one for me, just looking at the Portland Thorns have been dominant at home, right? Undefeated. And then on the road, all 3 losses, all the goals conceded have been on the road. What's kind of like in your mindset, the biggest thing the team needs to clean up on, especially heading on the road?
I think everybody in this league need to understand that most of the teams traveling away in this big country having a less chance to win the game because it's actually that shows the stats. I think Kansas have won all the games in this stadium this year. They have not won too many games away. So it's a different game when you play home or away in this league, and especially with time differences and weather conditions and 3-game weeks. So the away games takes more of your energy, which means that you need to have a good game plan how you can try to win. We beat Spirit away, we beat Chicago away, so we still have a few good games away, but beating San Diego away or beating Kansas City away is not many teams that are going to do that. So we obviously need to make sure how we can compete to the best level, and I think we competed today, but sometimes you also need to raise your hand and say like, look, congratulations, you were really good today, and that's football sometimes.
And then, Coach, on a little bit of a different note, can you talk a little bit about Pietra at the 10 and kind of what you're seeing from her? It sounded like she was starting to feel pretty confident in the kind of that role and kind of that chemistry with Soph from her post-game talk.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna watch the game back, but I think she's absolutely brilliant footballer. And when she's working in that space, she turned with the ball. She's good technically. She finds spaces. She played the through balls to Sofia. I think she had an assist to the goal. I'm not really sure if I remember it correctly, but I think so.
Yep, yeah.
She's top quality, and she's getting the minutes and the patience of playing time. And I think you can see that she can adapt to different roles. But we're trying to play Petra as a footballer, and I think she's so good for the team. Out of position, she's also now very much more understanding how we want to defend. The next layer will be how we can use her triggers to make sure she can press a little bit more and so on. But overall, I'm so impressed with her, and I'm so happy to have her in my team.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else for Coach Robert before we let him go?
Real quick for me, stealing Taylor's question for Sam that she just asked. Obviously, Kansas City, very transitional team. Utah, different kind of transitional team. Are there any lessons you can take from this game and apply them to next week?
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely see stuff where we need to be better in our build-up against a high-press team like Utah, because otherwise they are very good in the transitions. But they are still very good, different teams, I would say, and we are also very much different when we play home or away against the top teams. So you can definitely learn a lot from this game, but it's going to be another game. It's going to be another week leading into that game where you have a whole training week, which is very good for us to get. And we are very confident in our home stadium, so I want to make sure we go back there and pick up a really good performance and a win, so we can go on the summer break in a good position in the table.